Yo, it's Viking Donkey Gingy and Lasker on the mic. Still city nonsense, yeah, we're here to ignite debates and discussions all about the black and gold stories of the Steelers bravely to be told.
Nation Jackson Janet's greetings and welcome to your daily dose of Donkey Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, bringing you some football talk, is what we'll just call it this week. I mean, things are going on. Coaches are getting fired. Teams are losing crazy football games. Some games end in a blowout. Some games end really close. Quite an entertaining weekend of football. I know there's no Steelers, but the question I want to pose to you two, because I know what my answer is. You're the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams just throws the longest 10-yard completion I've ever seen on fourth down, runs to the 40-yard line, throws it off his back foot, touchdown. You have a chance to tie the game or win the game if you go for two. No real time remaining. Gingy, in this circumstance after that miracle play, do you go for the extra point like the Bears did, or do you go for the win?
Dang, in hindsight, it didn't turn out for him. Mutant Gingy in the house here. But hey, Donkey, if you do go for two in that situation and you drop the ball, you might drop your job.
No, brand new coach not going to drop his job. You have to go for two. Laskers.
This one's a borderline call for me because they're the home team. Normally, I would say you go for the extra point. But I agree in this situation, you got to go for two.
The way they were getting throttled by the Rams most of that game, man, I feel like you expand that game, it gives the Rams the advantage. And I hate to say this, the reason I think you have to go for two is if you're a gambler, you can't change your theory halfway through, right? Like if you're putting on black 8 every time at the roulette table, you can't go, oh, it's late, now I'm going to go to 9. You can't change in the middle. Ben Johnson had been going for it on fourth down the whole game. He passed up at least 2 field goal opportunities earlier in the game to go for it on failed tries. Gingy, the reason I say you have to go for it is you've gone for it all game. You cannot stop at the most crucial moment, man.
Must have felt good about the defense, Donkey.
I watched that game, and I sure as heck, as soon as they kicked the extra point, I go, man, now they're going to lose after this amazing catch. I was at the American Legion watching my sons, partake in some Cub Scout activities, and there's a couple old guys playing darts, and we just looked at each other like, they have to go for it. And we all said, man, they're going to regret that. We all said that together, dude. It's like you just felt that was the moment to win the game. That momentous play right there. That's when you have to capitalize, Lasker, when you have it all in front of you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You have to capitalize when you know you can. Now, would it have made a difference? Who knows? You'd be at 18 points and you'd still lose by 2. But, it's hard to say. And also, stop playing prevent the win.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Prevent defense kills me. Other side of the tick, the Seattle Seahawks showed you how you handle a football team that's injured. And my goodness gracious, did they just put on an absolute clinic in the other half of that NFC matchup. I don't have anything else to say other than, damn, Gingy. That's all I have to say about that game.
Yeah, special teams, offense, defense. They're moving on.
That game was over in the first quarter.
Also, AFC West, one question for you. Arizona, why the hell do you suck? Okay, everybody else there is good. What the hell's your problem? One of you's not like the other. Stop it. Let's move on to the AFC games.
Kyler Murray.
No. I want to. Kyler Murray's your answer. Yeah, well, he's injured all the time, so that's a fair answer. Let's talk about offense is the new king, Gingy. I know people want to talk about it, but the 3 top scoring offenses in the NFL are still alive in the playoffs. Offense seems to be the new king. You need to be able to score 30 points in a game, and we'll get to that later as it showed. New England showed the ability to do that. The one team this year that really hasn't shown the ability to do that is the Houston Texans. I know that defense is amazing. I know D'Amico Ryans has done amazing things with that defense. But let's be honest here. It's year 3 of D'Amico Ryans. It's year 3 of C.J. Stroud. And he has failed to develop this quarterback. Is this the peak for the Houston Texans, losing in the divisional round, being able to beat a wild card team with that defense, but not being able to beat an upcoming team with a young quarterback that can score in the New England Patriots? That team's looking good. No real big names on that defense, but a unit that plays better than the parts, Bill Belichick style. My God. Is this the roof of the Houston Texans, Gingy? Is this the roof of a defensive first football team? We saw it before in Tennessee. These run heavy, hope to God the defense stops some teams. They seem to have this hard ceiling of the divisional round. Is Houston the latest one of these?
Unless you're able to see C.J. Stroud develop into something more complex on offense. Probably, Donkey, yes.
Laskers.
What I'm going to go with is that the more and more we see it, I don't think defense wins championships anymore. I'm thinking this is the peak of the Texans.
It seems like it's hard capped unless you have an offense that can put up a little bit. So maybe it is. Maybe that's a peak. But, we still have 2 good defensive teams in the AFC remaining. But, Gingy, before I get to that, this New England team, terrible year the last year of Belichick, terrible year their first year with Gerard Mayo. They realize he's not the guy. Instant fire him, bring in a guy who fits the culture, has a quarterback, looks good. Is New England showing the NFL the way you do it that maybe firing a coach after 1 year isn't a terrible idea? Because if you know that guy's just wrong after a season, why wait it out for 3? Do you think that maybe this leads to a whole plethora of teams being quick firing with the coaches because of their success? Do you think New England found something with their quick move, or do you think that just happened to be a lucky lightning in a bottle strike?
I think they just had the perfect guy. I mean, look at the guy they got, Donkey.
It's a New England guy.
It's a New England
coaching
guy.
Experience. That was a winner somewhere else.
Exactly. I mean, when you have that guy available, sure, why not? But I don't think that's a recipe that you can really replicate sustainably for a lot of success.
No, not unless you know the guy you want's out there, right?
Right, the guy. Like,
exactly.
Vrabel in New England, why would anybody think anything any different than that?
Exactly. I mean, unless you see a perfect fit. Now, last year's my question to you is, do you think the way New England did this with drafting a quarterback, having a bad year with the coach, not feeling right about the coach, and then moving on, do you think this is going to become a copycat thing? I mean, I know the NFL's already been pretty quick with head coaches, but do you think we're going to now start seeing the era of one-and-done coaches become a more common occurrence?
I think we're 5 years away from that, but I think it will become a common occurrence. The GMs and the owners they want to win.
Yeah, it's a win now league. It's a push now league. It's a you have to show something from the get-go type of league. I totally agree with that. Now, let's move on. The Broncos and the Bills. Oh, what a crazy game. And any Bill fan who's complaining that, how is this not a catch, but Davante Adams was a catch? I'm going to explain to you the NFL rule, and I think it's stupid. I've already went over this a bunch. But the catch rule is pretty simple. When you catch the ball and you're standing up, the rules are completely different than when you catch the ball falling to the ground. Davante Adams caught the ball standing up and then got tackled. That means all he has to do is hold the ball until he hits the ground and the play is done, because falling to the ground is the third element of the catch for him. That's all he has to do, because he caught it with both feet on the ground. Now, because Brandon Cooks caught the ball already going to the ground, he has to survive the ground. And because the guy stole the ball from his hands while he was on the ground, which, by the way, was instantaneous. When I watched it live, I thought it was
definitely instantaneous.
I thought it was an interception watching it live. When you watch it in super slow-mo, you'll be like, see, he possessed it. Sure he did, but you have to turn it to super slow-mo, and you have to ignore the NFL catch rule, which is maintaining possession through contact with the ground. He did not do that. The defender comes up with the ball. That's a clean interception. That's a by-the-book interception. Stop your boo-hooing. I understand you are the saddest franchise I have ever seen, and I don't mean that in like a super negative way. I mean, Jesus Christ, if you guys had any luck, it would be beyond terrible, okay? I don't mean you're like the Cleveland Browns where you're a laughingstock. Don't take it that way. I just mean, dude, if there's one franchise that's going to be crying at the end of the year, put your money on the damn Buffalo Bills, Gingy. My God.
Ouch. Painful, but I don't disagree with any of that. It's a fair explanation for the NFL catch roll. Yeah, I'll never forget because of Jesse James.
Oh, dude, he caught the ball, was turning, was reaching the ball, and don't want to talk
Across
about
the
that.
plane.
Last year.
That's a whole different story because it's across
Yeah.
the plane. So
Yeah, I don't want to
even
no.
more nuanced rolls to that catch, but we digress.
No. Laskers, how's the feel up there in the northern part of Pennsylvania towards the Buffalo thing on the whole? Hey, we lost to the number 1 seed. We lost to the best team in the AFC. So we're going to fire our coach because we lost to them in a game that was, let's be honest here. If they would have signed a receiver who could hold on to the ball and not had to rely on Brandon Cooks, who got cut by one of the worst teams in football in the middle of the season, maybe things are a little different. But it is the way it is right now, Laskers. How's the tone up there?
Everyone's actually, there's a petition to get Sean McDermott back. So, it's not great up here. And honestly, I don't agree with the firing. That is the GM's fault. Okay, he's claiming that the one wide receiver, Keon Coleman, that was Sean McDermott and his coaching staff's decision. Okay, whatever.
Dude, if they could get that kid to play, his talent is real. That kid
I don't even care about
football.
You have one receiver.
Yeah, I know. They're like
that's
the Steelers.
it.
Except they have a good.
So
they
that's
have like
not
a
the coach's fault. That
back.
is the GM's fault. That now got promoted to be president of football operations. This makes zero sense. And that's me being a Steelers fan. It makes zero sense.
GMs throw in coaches under the bus are just, that's just the way it works for teams that are north of the Steelers. The Browns, the Bills, that's just the way it works recently around there. But man, that game was crazy. Bo Nix leading a game-winning drive on a broken frickin' ankle, Gingy. Come on now. Tell me you don't hope Jarrett Stidham can pull one out just because, my God, what Bo Nix did deserve some Super Bowl appearance.
That's some hero stuff. For sure, Donkey.
Dude, I heard that, and all I could think was, well, he's not quite as he's not quite as BA as Byron Leftwich, getting carried down the field in Marshall. He ain't quite on that level, but man, that was a hell of a football game. It was really, I'm gonna tell you, this playoffs has been amazingly entertaining outside of like 3 football games, right? The Steelers game, meh. The Niners second game, meh. And I guess you could say both New England games are kind of not really entertaining. Although the first half of this one was pretty darn good, I will say. It's just the second half, New England's like, hey, look, we're not going to let you move the football. And everybody else is like, okay. Because for some reason, everybody wants New England to have 7 Super Bowls, and I'm getting a little sick of it, Laskers.
I'm with you on that one. I'm praying the Broncos win this game. I don't want the Patriots in on their Super Bowl. Screw that.
Now, Gingy, if the Broncos beat the Patriots here with a backup quarterback, does it show that defense can still be king, or is it kind of just a one-off? Is it kind of just a one-off?
It kind of is. You have to see how each team plays. If New England goes out there and puts their best foot forward and they still are getting stifled by that defense, maybe, right? Pose an argument for it.
Also, dude, don't forget, no one has seen Jarrett Stidham play in Sean Payton's system. Don't put it past a quarterback who you haven't seen in a system doing some things you aren't ready for. And in the playoffs, man, one or two little catch-up plays, that might be the game.
Well, they did see him play in the preseason.
Yeah. Okay, Laskers. I got a response for that. You got me there. Shots fired. Anyone thinking we're signing old has-been quarterbacks? Anyone surprised that Drew Brees didn't make like a little appearance in Denver based off the way the season's gone?
Cam Newton won it in.
Oh, hell no. That dude after he wrecked his car, his arm became a noodle.
No, he won it in.
Get old noodle arm out of here, Gingy. I don't even want to hear him. Dude, he's like that dude's the one who flew over the cuckoo's nest or whatever. Man, he's a little wild out there in his takes.
He's wild. He's definitely wild.
And I'm not talking your fashion sense, Cam. I'm not talking that. I'll let that go. Just your football takes, man. You out there, dude. Any other NFL news that caught you guys by surprise? It's Jesse Minter going to the Ravens, right, as their new head coach, defensive coordinator for the Chargers. Why the hell are we taking a Harbaugh disciple, now different Harbaugh, but still a Harbaugh family disciple who actually has coached under both Harbaughs, to go be the new coach in Baltimore when we want things to change for Lamar? Let's get a defensive-minded Harbaugh disciple. Is anyone else a little confused by that hiring?
I just don't care. It's good for us.
Screw it. Screw the Ravens. Yeah, what's really funny to me, I want to mention, guys, we're going deep in on the Bills. Did anyone see that they called in Philip Rivers?
I hate the
coaching candidate. That's kind of funny, ain't it?
I hate the optics of it, man. Tell me what Philip Rivers' qualifications are, right? Tell me what his qualifications are. Now, maybe if
he coaches high school
ball
presently.
Maybe if Philip Rivers was interviewing for the Chargers, I could see it. You know, he's been in that franchise. He's a part of that franchise. He's a part of that culture. Maybe I can see it. But explain to me how Philip Rivers gets a head coaching interview. And in the NFL, there are so many qualified dudes who never get the call year in, year out. Like, you're talking Eric Bieniemy for like 3 years as the Chiefs offensive coordinator, could never get a head coaching interview, right? Or never get a second interview. Byron Leftwich has just fallen off the face of the world after being an offensive coordinator for a Super Bowl winning team, where the next 3 Tampa Bay coordinators get instant head coaching jobs, right? The optics of this, to me, are just terrible. I don't like it. I don't like seeing unqualified people who haven't put in any time, get the golden light because they're a media darling, right? That's the lack of a better term for me, but tell me one qualification Philip Rivers has.
Coaches high school ball.
I got nothing, but the only thing I can say really on that subject is, okay, he was a NFL quarterback, so he does understand the offense. He understands the defense. But do I think he deserved that interview? No.
Hear me out on this one, Laskers. The reason that I disagree with that is, yeah, he was an NFL quarterback. Was it ever for the Bills?
No, but he was an NFL quarterback, so he understands offense and defense.
So we should be lining up interviews with Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, all these dudes right after they retire. Hang on.
As long as at some point
they coached high school football.
I want to chime in on that. There's a lot of Steelers fans that want Ben Roethlisberger as our new head coach, and Ben Roethlisberger said, "Fuck that."
There's a lot of Steelers fans who are really dumb when they have a few Iron Cities in them. Okay. We'll leave it at that.
I agree with Ben. Fuck that.
Yeah. And see, and hear me out, I could see Ben Roethlisberger being interviewed by the Steelers because he was the Steelers culture guy. The Steelers know him really well, and their ownership and back office personnel should know if he would be a good candidate to push forward, right? So I don't disagree with that. This would more like Laskers. This would more like be the Detroit Lions interviewing Ben Roethlisberger the year after he retired from the Steelers instead of Dan Campbell, right? Instead of a qualified candidate, we're going to interview Ben Roethlisberger.
It's diversity. That's what the Bills were going for.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll take it.
the Rooney Rule. You have to do diversity.
Ironically, you don't have to interview a white guy. Just full disclosure on that. The Rooney Rule is you have to interview a minority candidate. So
That's 2, I think, right?
it's for every opening, and now I think every front office opening, you have to interview at least a minority candidate. I don't know if they've expanded it to be multiple.
I think it's 2 because I think the Cleveland Browns have to interview another minority. What I read today, and don't quote me
Well,
on
they
that.
shouldn't have to because they took Shahasi from the Rams and they interviewed the defensive coordinator. From
You
the
have to do
Dolphins.
2. You have to do 2 interviews, not
Oh.
1. You have to do 2.
Well, they had 2 already, so I don't know about that. Or unless they canceled one of them, which is very possible. Because honestly, I'm not following the Browns coaching vacancy until it
They
gets
canceled
filled.
at least 2 of them, and
Until it gets filled,
I don't know
really care about them. Any other football things you guys saw? Watch the national championship. See a little revengeance from a no-star recruit going against his hometown college in his hometown to win himself a national championship. A little love out there for what Indiana did, sticking it to all those mega money programs. You guys like that one a little bit?
I thought that was pretty cool.
Pretty dang cool. I dig it.
Yeah, my favorite part is Signetti. Did he coach at like IUP or was it your alma mater?
He coached at IUP.
I couldn't remember.
So every Signetti has lost to Cal U.
Oh, nice. Laskers has a nice little tidbit for us there, Gingy. You ready for that one?
That was out of nowhere. I like it.
That's why Laskers is there on the stat box. Keep things coming that are interesting. All right. Anything you want to talk about at all before we talk about the 2 remaining games coming up? Championship weekend. Hopefully some good football, but any topics you want to talk about there first? Any interest you have in what the Steelers have interviewed so far? Secondary interviews coming up. Guys who you're like, why aren't we talking to them? Or are you just sitting here like, please God, give me a coach and please God, not make it defensive?
That's where I'm at. It needs to be no C.
I'm waiting for all the hype to die down. Donkey. I mean, I hear, when you go on the internet, you see a lot of different things, right?
Did you go on
Steelers
the internet?
interviewing this
All I see is
guy.
AI videos on Steeler fake sites saying, oh, look, the Steelers, as soon as McDermott got fired, gave him $1 jillion and he's a Steelers head coach. That's what I see.
That's all
yeah.
I see too.
Yeah, I'm not interested in all that. I'm just gonna wait for all that hype to die down. They'll have it sorted out by draft day for sure.
I got entertained
They
this morning.
have
I
to.
come out and my mom goes, David, did you hear we hired Sean McDermott? And I'm like, Mom, get off of Facebook. Why? Because you're reading the damn fake AI articles again. But it looks so real.
It does, but it's not.
Like,
Not even close to real.
I was like, we haven't even interviewed McDermott, Mom. Oh, so he's not our coach? No.
Not yet. We could only hope.
Man, I don't want McDermott to
But
hear
he's
me
a
out.
defensive.
Well, actually,
he's
it
a
might
defensive
work.
minded coach.
It might work for the Steelers. And Laskers, I meant to talk about this like 10 minutes ago. The reason I think the Bills should have moved on McDermott was a year ago, because that team did look like a peak. But more importantly, isn't it something like only 5 head coaches in the history of the NFL have won a Super Bowl with a team after being with the team 5 or more seasons? It's something ridiculous of how few coaches have won a Super Bowl with a team.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought I saved the picture, but I guess I didn't.
Yeah,
but it's a
I'm not going to look
ridiculously
that up.
few amount of coaches who have ever won
It wouldn't surprise me because
a Super Bowl after being with a team.
and here's the thing on that though that I will challenge. Okay, so let's go Tomlin. Okay, he won a Super Bowl within 5 years, but that team was gifted to him.
Right, and he never won another Super Bowl afterwards.
And none of us can argue that team wasn't gifted to him.
It is what it is. I'm not going to argue that or not, and I won't
So-
say that
so
because
that- that's my
there was a
argument
large
is-
amount of roster turnover from when Tomlin took it to then. He also got to another one. I think what Tomlin got was a team that was already a Super Bowl team. Clearly, Cowher just won one, and he got blessed with the ability to keep Super Bowl level coaches. Okay, and that makes a huge difference. Is who the
Yeah.
coaches are around you. Like, do you think it's a real big surprise that Kansas City went out and brought back Eric Bieniemy? Do you think
No.
that's a big surprise that they let Matt Nagy go when they've been struggling the last few years offensively, that they're going to go back to the dude who was a championship level coach with him? You need to surround yourself. A good head coach is only as good as the coaches he surrounds himself with. It's why there are certain coaches who are always great, and then their coaches always seem to go on and do good things, right? Like, look at Bruce Arians. Yeah, I know he hasn't been the head coach for Tampa, but he's been involved in the personnel and the coaching hires. Look at all those offensive coordinators who have become head coaches somewhere else. Dave Canales brings Carolina to the playoffs in his second year. Liam Cohen leads the Jaguars to becoming the best franchise, or the best team in the AFC South, a really competitive division in his first year there. Really great coaches bring in coaches who can challenge them, who can bring them to the next level. Kyle Shanahan brings in guys like Robert Saleh, brought in DeMeco Ryans. While he's an offensive coach, he brought in great defensive coaches. So I hear you. I think the team changed quite a bit. I think what stayed the same, though, was that championship level coaching staff. And Tomlin became the new headpiece of that championship level coaching staff. The thing that always held Tomlin back to me in his later years was that inability to get championship level coaches to surround him. And it's why his coaching tree has 0 branches, where a guy like Kyle Shanahan, a guy like Sean McVay, a guy like Andy Reid, a guy like Bill Belichick. Look at the branches of those coaching trees. That's what held Tomlin back.
Well, I was definitely going to say Sean McVay. I mean, look at how many head coaches now are based off of history, but
There might be 2 more this year.
And my thing was with Tomlin is he eventually decided to take over doing we'll just say offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. It doesn't matter. He decided that, okay, I can't trust the people that I have around me. Well, that's a problem if you can't trust the people that you have around you.
I don't think it's a trust thing. And Gingy, I'm going to go to you with this view after this. I think Mike Tomlin is a guy who wanted yes men, not guys who challenge you. And the way you get above other teams is you have someone who challenges your way of thinking so that you have to come up with a complex solution that's, able to address the problem. I don't think Mike Tomlin ever wanted to address problems. I think he just wanted people to say yes. All you, Gingy.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what it's like in that locker room. It is a distinct. Are there any other coaches that we can think of that produced a similar outcome? Like, what would people say? The lack of a tree, right?
Lack of a tree and Super Bowl success.
Any other long? I can't. Ooh.
So I got a question for both of you guys, and it's going to be based off the Bills. Did either of you hear about the Steelers crying? I'm not saying about Tomlin. No, I'm not saying Tomlin. Did you hear about?
I heard Cam Hayward was crying and inconsolable. I heard TJ was crying
during the loss to.
Yes, right afterwards at post-game press conferences. Yes.
Was it the whole team or was it just a couple players?
It was enough that they noted it. I mean, that's how every team in the playoff is for the most part. I heard that the Texans locker room was somber, crying attitudes. I heard the same thing with the 49ers. These dudes just put a full season into it and lost, man. That's emotional. That's given. It's what it is.
In my opinion, that's how a team should act.
It's how they do. And from my understanding, that's how most of it was.
But from what I saw in Tomlin getting fired, it was T.J. Watt and
Tomlin didn't get fired. He stepped down. Art Rooney won.
Sorry, Tomlin getting
full disclosure.
Yeah,
And he
you're
didn't
right.
even tell the team he was leaving because he didn't make that decision till allegedly the closed door meeting. But really, Tomlin's that kind of guy who likes to keep it to himself. I don't think he told anyone because he didn't want anyone to talk about it. He
Well,
wanted to be out of town before they had a chance to say why.
So from what I saw, is he told a couple of his close friends that before the season even started, that this was probably his last year.
He said that before. He's hinted at that before. So
I'm just
grain of salt. But why does that have to?
exactly.
The Buffalo connection's where I'm lost at here last year's.
No, it's just that every player on the Buffalo Bills was crying in the locker room.
I
after
saw the
that
video,
loss.
man. It looked about the same as average. It looked like a third of the team's crying. The other ones are all just dejected. It's just with the Bills, it was Josh Allen's crying, so it's headline news because Josh Allen's crying, right?
I didn't even care to consider that one because I saw there was a lot of other
I
players
saw
that
those
were
locker
said
room
that.
videos because I watch the locker room videos because I like to get just a feel of which coaches lost the locker room because sometimes you can see that at the end of your videos. And I'll tell you right now, the Buffalo one looked exactly like every other team that lost in the playoffs. I don't think it was any different. Maybe it was. If someone knows, be sure leave in the comment. Tell me if I'm crazy. But I just don't.
But my
remember
point
it
on
looking
that
any
was
different.
Terry Pagula's comment that Sean McDermott lost the locker room
That
because
was an
the
owner
players
trying
were
to
crying.
justify why he got a head
I
coach out
don't
there
disagree with you on that at all.
and he wants to make sure there's no criticism on him if the next head coach isn't as good. He could be like, "Well, there's nothing I could do. He had lost the locker room." That's the HR cover your booty hole type of response right there, Laskers.
Well, I think the next head coach, no matter what, has lost the locker room walking in.
Nah, not at all. That's teams change so much, players change so much. There's going to be such a turnover there. It's going to be different. And the biggest thing is the new head coach just has to make friends with Josh Allen. If the new head coach is friends with Josh Allen, the whole team's going to follow because there is zero doubt when you watch a Bills game who the undeniable leader of that team is.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that.
I don't even remember where we were at, Gingy. Oh, you were talking about how you don't know about that on the Steelers and the Yes Man.
With the Yes Man, seems like it. But I mean, he coexisted with Dick LeBeau for a long time. Was Dick LeBeau a Yes Man over there?
No, and that's why those Steeler teams were better than the ones afterwards.
I gotcha.
That's where the Steelers lost the championship level offensive play calling with Bruce Arians, and then they lost the championship level play calling with Dick LeBeau leaving, right? And I think the game was starting to pass LeBeau by a little bit, so that's neither here nor there. But the reason I say yes, man, is specifically Todd Haley. After about 3 years after getting fired, so it wasn't a let go, not renewed, I guess is the way it would be. He got not renewed. 3 years after that, he was on an interview and he talked about, yeah, the Steelers were a little different than any team I've been with. There wasn't a whole lot of challenge and pushback that I've seen in other organizations. It was more of a yes man mentality. It was an exact quote from, at least I think that's what the exact quote was. It was something really close to that.
It's close
from
enough.
Todd Haley that makes me always think that's what Tomlin wanted. Gingy was just him saying that. And he said that so far removed from being let go that it wasn't like a heat of the moment thing. And from my understanding is Todd Haley actually is still friends and likes Mike Tomlin by all accounts.
That's pretty evident then what's going on.
That's what I always thought. And I don't know, maybe there are yes men, because I don't know all the cultures of the NFL, right? There might be yes men teams that work really good. For all I know, Andy Reid brought back Eric Bieniemy because Eric Bieniemy is his biggest yes man, right? I don't know how other teams work. I don't follow other teams enough, but that was just a weird thing that stuck in my head. And when you look at the change of culture, and I didn't even want to talk about this, but Lasky brought it up, so we'll get there. The change of culture in the Steelers that was so evident from those mid-2000 teams to let's even call it like a 2012 team, right? It just felt like the culture, the accountability was just different.
Yeah, I can hear that.
And we didn't really see GM shifts. We didn't see those power struggles that other teams have had. I mean, hell, the last power struggle we had, was it like That's not his name. That's the newscaster. As I was saying, it was Tom Donahue versus Bill Cowher. But there was someone that Bill Cowher won a power struggle with. I don't quite remember who it was, to be quite honest with you. But they got let out in like the mid '90s, so that's why I don't remember. You know, as a little kid, I probably didn't even know what the hell the GM. If you said this dude's a GM of a football team, I'd have been like, what? You know, like
Right,
I barely
right.
knew
What's
what the
a
hell the head
GM
coach
do?
was. I thought the head coach just ran everything probably at that age. So that is what it is. Do you think, Laskers and Ginger here, do you think the Steelers will get their primary candidate that they want to come here? And two, do you think the guy they really wanted has already signed somewhere else?
I think the guy.
Oh, who's
look at
their
the guy they
primary
want.
candidate?
That's what
the
you got to
real
decide.
question.
Who do you think is their number one guy, and do you think they'll get him? Or do you think he's already gone?
I don't think he's already gone.
I don't think the guy that we were looking for is already gone. I do think
neither.
we'll get the guy that we think we want.
I think their top two. I think their top candidate, and it pains me to say this because I really don't like him being their top candidate. I really think Shula from the Rams is their top candidate.
I do too.
It's either Shula or Flores. That's my opinion.
I don't think it's Flores because they would have already brought him back. And if he had got the feel that the Steelers he was the Steelers' number one choice, I don't think he signs that. Now, moving on from there, a little bit kind of crazy here. Don't know how well it's segmented. Lost the recording for a minute. But let's move on from Steelers coaches. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that when we sign one. To these games that are upcoming. We got New England going to Denver. Of course, Bo Nix getting hurt. Jared Stidham taking over. That Denver defense, pretty darn good. Mile High City, pretty darn good. Their running game, pretty darn good. Sean Payton, pretty darn good. Then you've got New England. They bring in a New England guy. They have, an up-and-comer who looks absolutely fantastic. Not going to lie, I did not think Drake May would look this good. Drake May coming in, road game, Mile High City. You know what? I'm not sure if it's just I don't want New England to have more Super Bowls than the Steelers, but I feel there's just a little something the Broncos are going to do that's going to let them eke this one out by like 2 points with an end-of-the-game field goal on a Jared Stidham completing a crazy little screen pass that goes for 40 yards to set it up or something ridiculous. Gingy, do you think this AFC Championship game is going to be a good one, or do you think one of the two teams is going to have a rollover, maybe because someone's missing a quarterback?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a close game, Donkey. I've been going back and forth in my mind all week, kind of about who's going to pull this one out. I think they're two pretty evenly matched teams. I think you described it well. New England, young guys, up-and-comers, new coach, rebuild. Denver, home field advantage. Always something about Mile High, right?
Yeah.
And
almost killed
yeah.
Ryan Clark. Literally almost killed Ryan Clark, Gingy.
Yeah, always something crazy. So, I think that the home team is going to pull this one out myself. But like I said, all week I've been back and forth. I really can't decide. I think it's going to be the closer of the two games.
Yeah, that's probably
Myself?
true.
I think it is.
I don't know, man. What is this, a third matchup between the Rams and Seahawks? Those are always fun to go. Laskers, your feel on the AFC Championship game, though?
Well, you're going the home team, Gingy, right?
Yeah, Denver.
I am. I like the Broncos.
Yeah. All right. I think it's going to be a little bit mismatched, but I still think it's going to be a tight game. Give me the Broncos by 7. And I don't agree. I don't agree with agreeing with both of you guys, but I figure you both would pick the Patriots. So,
my heart says I'm not allowed to do that. Nope.
That's where my heart is too.
And I'm just not. I think New England is up and coming, but I I don't know if they live up to the moment, but I also don't know if a backup quarterback lives up to the moment either. I'd be a whole lot more healthier in my decision if it was Bo Nix.
I'm going to tell you what I think the difference maker is, and it's not that I don't think Vrabel's a really good coach, and he could prove to absolutely put himself in that can he be elite category if he wins the Super Bowl this year, right? But I'm going to be honest with you. There's something about Sean Payton and just figuring out what damn buttons to push with a team and a young, maybe forgotten about or not overskilled quarterback. And I just think he's going to do something silly and something crazy that's going to make the difference. I think there's going to be just a ridiculous Sean Payton play call that works out, like a fake punt, something like that. And I think it's going to be the slightest of margins that wins the game, right?
Oh, and also he's really talking high on this backup quarterback.
What's he going to do, Lasker? Say, he sucks.
Hey, he could have got
hype the dude
Phyllis.
up.
He could have got
hype him up.
Phyllis.
Oh man, you gotta hype him up. Let's go to the other one. Seahawks Rams. We're talking early in the season, the November meeting. The Rams win 21-19. Then we're talking a little later in the season, in December, the Seahawks win 38-37. These are two divisional rivals. They know each other really well. McDonald, is that his name? The former Ravens defensive coordinator, doing a great job there. Kubiak really has that offense humming. And Sean McVay is just Sean McVay. They have some monsters up front on that Rams team with Jared Verse leading the way. This is two teams that have shown the capability of winning games by scoring points and by stopping teams from scoring points. But Gingy, I gotta give it to the 12s out there. And you look at that draft class way back, whatever it was, who would have thought all that time later, the first quarterback who may be, bringing home a Lombardi is Sam frickin' Darnold, Gingy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would have told you that you needed some help if you would have told them that 3 years ago.
Especially on his fourth or fifth or sixth team? It's not like he's doing it with the Jets, the team that took him to be the franchise quarterback. He's doing it on his sixth ride, Laskers. Gotta give a little love to the dude putting in his time and his miles.
Definitely gotta give a little love, but I'm going Rams here, just so you know.
That's fair. I like the Seahawks, but if it's the Rams, Gingy, there's something I'll talk to you about. We talked about it a little bit before. There's something we need to talk about if it's the Rams. Now,
yes, sir.
How do you feel this game goes, though, Gingy? I really feel like the Seahawks defense puts them down, and I feel this is a 10-point, pretty comfortable Seattle win.
I agree. That's what I was looking at after last week. How could you not after the dismantling of, granted, an injured 49ers team, but
dude, they made
desperate
Brock Purdy
49ers
look like
team.
he was a lost puppy.
Mm-hmm.
He was just not. It was like one
Dismantled.
quarter. It was one quarter, and you're like, game over. It didn't even take more than a quarter. My goodness gracious. You want to talk about a team that can do it in all three phases. That game started last week with a kick return touchdown. Trading for Shaheed, what a hell of a move. Which, by the way, maybe the Steelers should have traded for a receiver. I don't know. Look what Jacoby Myers helped the Jaguars do. I know the playoffs didn't help. Look what Rashad Shaheed has done with the Seahawks. I mean, man, these late season edition receivers have been making some splash, Gingy.
Yeah, I hear it, Donkey. That's what you need. Additional receivers, Donkey. That's what you need.
We got two Seahawks. We got a Rams. But, Gingy, I wanted to talk to you about this. And I know Aaron Rodgers' regular season numbers, they're a little better. We talked about it before this. But if Matthew Stafford wins that second Lombardi, does Matthew Stafford, especially if he wins the MVP this year on top of it, does Matthew Stafford put his name above Aaron Rodgers in the all-time great list? I think he does if he wins the second Lombardi. And I never really got, your view was a little bit. Are you a little more decisive either way? Because I think Rodgers is a little better regular season. but only 11-11 in the playoffs. This would make Stafford 9-5 in the playoffs, and he trails a little bit in the regular season. But these are two elite arm talent guys who've put up really godly numbers. And I know Aaron's are slightly more godly in the regular season, but dude, to me, that second Lombardi gives Stafford that little kick to put him just the slightest bit above, right? It's like him and Aaron Rodgers are on the same rung of the damn ladder, but Matt decided to put his hands on top, right?
It's true, and he's pulling ahead at the end too, right? It didn't look like that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, those years in Detroit, you thought he was going to go down as the Dan Marino
Mediocre
of that
Yep.
era, right?
Yep, and that was like 10 years. That was almost a decade of mediocrity over there, and then boom. Explosion.
Sean McVay can do for your career.
Right?
Just crazy.
And Aaron Donald, of course. But,
Oh, man, love me some Pitt. Hail to Pitt, baby.
Defense was gnarly last time they won the Super Bowl.
Hail to Pitt. Ironically,
What a
one of the
homer.
most influential Ram players that might be coming back this week is Akilla Witherspoon, the former Steeler who went over there. I thought that was a little bit of a funny, wow, that's what that guy's doing now type of moment. But Laskers, let's end it here. Let's end it with do you think Matthew Stafford surpasses Aaron Rodgers? You get the final say on it.
If he wins
a Lombardi.
If he wins the Super Bowl, he passes Aaron Rodgers.
Fair enough. I love it. Any other topics that we want to cover this week before we send it out? I guess shout it out first. No topics? No
topics.
No bubblegum Danny to the Buccaneers. You know, I still have to watch his bubblegum chewing butt on my NFC team.
That's your problem.
I get. All right, then
No
let's go
kickoff
shout
returns,
outs.
no punt coverage. Good luck, donkey.
Hey, Antonio Brown kicked the Browns punter in the face under Danny Smith, all right? That's a hell of a play design. Just letting you know.
Says a lot more about Antonio Brown than it does Danny Smith, don't it?
Don't you hate on Steelers' version of AB? That man was a monster. Any shout outs this week from you two?
I got nothing.
Gingy?
No, I don't do that. Still mourning the Steelers.
Fair enough. I will give a shout out, and I will give a shout out to Danny Smith because you had given me so many great pieces of content on this show with your bubblegum chewing ass. Whether it be I'm chewing you out one week, then the special teams make the game-winning play the next week, that I'm a little sad to see you go, man, because it was an entertaining little thing to talk about all the bubblegum you could fit in there, how many times me and Gingy questioned how many pieces he chews at once. I mean, he kept me entertained, and I absolutely enjoyed it for just the little bit of content that he did give to this channel. So, Danny Smith, thanks for that. I guess I could still talk about you with the Buccaneers. But now I'll let you know I'm the Viking Donkey. It's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger is the awesome YouTube channel where you get this fun content. We have some crazy stuff that might be joining the show and might have joined it this week. I don't know. You have to wait to see. Laskers, let them know.
I'm Laskers everywhere, and Donkey, enjoy the bubble gum that you now bought because Danny Smith is on your other team. So, good luck. Gingy to you.
Mutant Gingy in the house. We hanging out. We talking football. Conference championship weekend, folks. Another one from the sidelines. Maybe next year's the Steelers' year, but I don't know. Wave them if you got them. Here we go.
Yo, it's Viking Donkey Gingy and Lasker on the mic. Steel City nonsense, yeah, we're here to ignite debates and discussions all about the black and gold stories of the Steelers bravely to be told. Another Sunday, the air is thick with anticipation from the North Shore to every fan's location. We're breaking down the plays, the wins and the heartbreaks, every single snap. For goodness sakes, got my terrible towel waving it high and proud, lost in the cheers of the roaring crowd. From Bradshaw's bombs to Ben's big throws, Steelers legacy everybody knows. Oh, nonsensical Pittsburgh Steelers talk. Every single week we take that walk through the history, the present, and the future bright. Steel City story shining ever so light. single week we take that walk through the history, the present, and the future bright. Steel City story shining ever so light. Yeah, Viking, Donkey, Gingy, Lasker, a legendary crew. Talking Steelers football through and through. From the immaculate reception to Super Bowl rings, our Steel City heroes, the joy they bring. Through the highs and the lows, we stand by their side. With every victory, our pride can't hide. So grab your headphones, tune in and chill. For the love of the Steelers, we'll talk until... Nonsensical Pittsburgh Steelers talk. Every single week we take that walk through the history, the present, and the future bright. Steel City story shining ever so light. Yeah, Viking, Donkey, Gingy, Lasker,